So, Paulo, welcome to this fireside chat
Thank
between
you.
Tech Mahindra and Agile Labs. Very interesting work you guys do. You're building something which works with, I think, most of the data analytics tools, right? And you're trying to simplify, data engineering and the whole concept of data products and data mesh globally. So, before we get into all of that, why don't you quickly introduce yourself for our
Sure.
audience?
I'm Paulo Platter, CTO and co-founder of Agile Lab. I spent my entire career in data management, and I've been lucky to deep dive in data mesh since the early stages. It was 2019, and from that point forward, I became a really expert in that area. And after a couple of years, we decided to spin off the consulting company and create WheatBoost, that now is a product company. And now here we are, so fully
Great.
focused on the future.
Thanks so much, Paulo. And about myself, I'm Saurabh Jha. I'm the Senior Vice President and Global Head for Data and Analytics at Tech Mahindra. So we'll be having an interesting quick conversation today between TechM and Agile Labs. We have worked together on quite a few engagements, and we'll be talking about the future of data analytics, future of AI, Gen AI, and the work that the two companies are doing in this area. So, Paul, why don't we start with you said data mesh and data products. Now, in the last 2 years, every single conversation starts with AI, Gen AI, probably ends with data and data products. What is it that you see? What are you hearing from your customers? If you can just share a few notes there.
Yes, the the ambition to be driven by the AI is really strong in our customer without any specific sector or vertical market. So I think there is a real AI fever at the
Yeah.
moment. But I think also customers are starting to recognize that it's not only a matter of picking up the model, the tool, but it's a journey, a transformation journey for the entire company, involving technology, people, processes, and as well data, because data is the fuel of AI. So the transformation on the AI is accelerating also the transformation on the data. So a lot of awareness is coming, quality, governance, protection, many topic, including the data product concept, because the data product concept is shifting the data towards the business and creating the proper condition to help the business to leverage AI to extract more value from the data and really connect business needs and business processes with the data that we all have in our data platforms.
So, I would like to add a few points and then probably ask you a question. Now, data mesh as a concept, like you said, probably started 5, 6 years ago when Zamak, wrote a paper and talked about it. One of the fundamental driving factors of data mesh was supposed to be domain ownership of data, which also meant that the data products that will get created, right, by respective business domains will be owned by the business. I want to understand from you. I mean, I have a point of view and what I see in the market, but before I go there, what are you seeing? Are businesses actually owning that data, or is it still being enabled by the IT organization?
That's anyways a journey too. You cannot switch the ownership of the data
Overnight.
overnight. There are several transition models, for example, adopting hub and spoke methodology to have the IT lending the people and the skills to the business in order to put them in the condition of owning really the data. And there are tons of gray shadow in between. So there are so many companies that are adopting the data product, but still relying on IT capabilities to build them and then shifting them into the business once the first implementation is done. Or there are other companies instead that trying to really shift the capabilities into the business. it's crucial to understand that until there will be a divide between IT and business, and there will be an ownership gap between these two parties, we will have a lot of problem in quality, in trust, and whatever. This morning, for example, you were saying that we should aim for a more continuous,
Seamless. Yeah.
seamless transition of capability from the source to the data
Consumption.
valorization. And data mesh is all about this. So creating cross-functional team where we are not working the data based on the skill that we have, but based on the business value that we want to extract. And then organizing the skill in order to reach that goal.
And that's a great point, I think. And so I just want to add a few things there. See, I would say few trends or which actually make me happy, and that is, see, data mesh in its purest form may be something that is difficult to adopt, right? I mean, most organizations have seen challenges or some kind of, I would say, reluctance from the business to take complete ownership of data, right? But what I'm happy about is a lot of organizations are adopting the concept of data products very well, right? Which are, in my mind, fundamental building blocks of data mesh. So whether today or tomorrow, if you say, like you said, it's a part of a journey. So in that journey, if this is the first step, I think it's a good first step. And the other thing that we keep advising our customers is uh, that data products should not be created in a vacuum. What I mean by that is, let's say you have data where you have financial data, from the finance part of the organization, marketing, sales, customer, production, manufacturing. They should not just say, okay, this is manufacturing data and these are the 50 data products that we have created out of it. Instead, and what you were mentioning earlier, we need to look at the business outcomes that are expected from this data. And based on that, only create the data products that are actually needed. Now, whether that data product is a raw data product or it's an analytical data product or information data product, and whether it will be used for BI and reporting or for AI, ML or for Gen AI. But only so many should be created that are actually needed rather than just creating something and then waiting for somebody to use it. So it always needs to be use case driven. At least that's what we are advising. And we are seeing a lot of customers actually adopting this right to left approach rather than left to right approach. So I don't know. I mean, what's your view on that? And I also want to know, how is WitBoost, for example, helping customers with this approach?
Yeah, totally agree. At the beginning of this data mesh story, I got a lot of questions about, okay, but where do we start? Which is the first domain, the first data product that we should create? And then at that time, it was, I guess, 2021, I created a framework as a workshop framework that is called Data Product Flow, that basically is helping you to analyze your business process, identify where there are data opportunities, so opportunities to create value starting from the data, and then from that point you go backward to understand what data do you need. But the first data product that you should create is the one that is creating value for the business, also to start to get traction on the business side. Because if you start to build all the foundational data products, basically you end up in creating, 200 data products with no differentiation value with what you already have in the data. So this from a methodology and business orientation standpoint. WitBoost instead is taking a completely different angle. Because when you decentralize something, and you offer self-service capabilities, if you do it without taking governance, basically is ending up in shadow IT. This happened with the self-service BI 20 years ago.
Still happening. It's
still happening. So self-service doesn't mean that you can do whatever you want. So every time you try to decentralize and provide autonomy to people, you need to balance autonomy and governance. And WitBoost is trying to do this, trying to find the perfect a sweet spot between the autonomy that we provide to those that are building data products and consuming data products, and the governance that you need to have from a central standpoint. So Witboost is a platform creating a platform economy. I was saying today, like Amazon, in order to help people to exchange value without trusting each other. And this is exactly what happens in data management in company. People coming from different departments and domains are not trusting each other. So you need to have a platform in between that is guaranteeing that exchange of value among people. And this is exactly what Witboost is trying to do on a very soft level. So not trying to processing the data. or stuff
but
like this.
very interesting. But that you're saying that there is this layer that you're establishing, which is not only easing the process for users, but it is also establishing trust between users. But how are you achieving that? I mean, are there what rules built in? How do you ensure that the data that's coming from, say, sales and marketing is trusted by finance? How is that actually happening on the platform?
Because we help companies to establish practices on top of the data that are going to deliver that kind of trust. One example is the data contract practice. So it's something that everyone that is producing the data and want to produce data for the marketplace, for the community, anyone doing that need to be compliant with that practice. It means that you need to describe the data, you need to define your service level agreement, your data quality agreements, and so on. And then the platform is guaranteeing to you that those declarations, those promises are really respected. Like Amazon is doing the same. So when someone is selling a product, okay, if they try to cheat on the consumer because the product is not really what they promised and what they described,
Some kind of a rating mechanism?
It's I call it the computational policy. So it's a computational mechanism that is checking how people are producing these data products and how these data products are running in the real environment, creating the trust condition among the people.
Understood. Very interesting. Very interesting. No, great. So because as far as data mesh and data mesh and data products is concerned, at Techem also, I think we are very bullish on that trend. And like I said, we have been advising our customers to go the data product route. Also, to start from the use cases internally, we have developed quite a few IPs actually, whether it's your data mesh framework, data product marketplace, how the whole governance mechanism will work in terms of ensuring that duplicate data products are not created, for example, and also how the request access mechanism will work. So, and there's one, in fact, which is also for external marketplaces. So anyway, so these are all various IPs and framework because we know this, we know or we feel that this is the right way to go. And great to see that you have not just a framework, but you actually have a product that is trying to enable this. So great. And, and like I said, we have worked together in the past, and I'm sure we'll continue working together in the future as well. You bring a great proposition, and we'll help establish that with as many customers as possible.
Thank you.
Thank you so much
having me.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much.